coming up to Washington now. LAPD was in pursuit out of the East LA area on surface streets. So went westbound on 1st Street, south on Alameda, heading onto the freeway, and then heading on the 60 freeway through the East LA interchange. It is now southbound 710 and south of the 5 freeway. Now, LAPD units, because of the speed, they lost it for a while, but we believe the airship is tracking it right now southbound here, and the CHP is talking about trying to get units in position to intercept this pursuit right now. But again, wanted for reckless driving and speed. But you see the driver here. At one point, the driver turned the lights off for a little bit, but now they're back on. We understand they're saying that there are 2 people in the vehicle, and at this point we're waiting to see if the CHP will pick it up.
And Gail, at least from our vantage point right here, especially for a Saturday night, this freeway could be more packed. That's actually a good thing, especially for law enforcement following this driver at such high speed.
Yeah, very true, Karine. 710 southbound is light to moderate traffic right now. Northbound side has actually more traffic than the southbound, but sometimes we see the pursuit turn around. They'll get off the freeway and jump back on and go northbound. So we'll see if the driver does that or not. But at this point, I think the driver's feeling a little more comfortable with the fact that LAPD has dropped back quite a distance, and we'll see, though, if CHP tries to intercept it.
Yeah, we can obviously see the speed, Gil, high rate of speed right now. You talked about that he was wanted earlier for reckless driving. He seems to be staying in this one lane, doesn't seem to be swerving back and forth. As you mentioned before, he may just, as he changes lanes there, he may just be feeling comfortable at this point.
Yeah, I believe so. He's driving definitely more comfortable. Like I said, he was turning the lights out for a while and then coming back on, going across all lanes. Here he is moving across all lanes, but because of traffic. But he's traveling at 92 miles an hour and still at a high rate of speed. But thankfully, like Karine said, the traffic is a lot lighter.
Yeah, and we saw it exceed 100 miles per hour at one point. Explain the tactics here, Gil. You followed these pursuits countless times with LAPD standing back a little bit. What is their strategy at this moment?
You know, it could be the fact that the grounding has lost visual on the pursuit, but LAPD was talking about it. They were notified about the pursuit, and at this point, they may just allow the CHP to get involved and to intercept it because it's in their jurisdiction on the freeway. This vehicle's out of the LAPD's jurisdiction right now, so they may just be letting it go or staying if CHP is able to do to it.
Yeah, we don't see a night sun from a helicopter on it, so they may be a ways back. We're continuing what's going on there. Long Gil.
Our other top story tonight, for a second day, crowds of people throughout Southern California hit the streets to rally against President Trump's immigration enforcement efforts.
Yeah, the demonstrations came today after a week after federal agents shot and killed a second U.S. citizen in Minnesota as he protested against their immigration operations. Now, the demonstrations outside City Hall today were largely peaceful. However, there was a small group outside the detention center. They were trying to clash with the agents. An unlawful assembly, though, that was finally declared, and a dispersal order was issued for those who were remaining behind.
We have the protests, the rallies, and important court rulings all covered tonight. Let's begin with KTLA's Chris Wolf in downtown LA. Hi, Chris.
Hey, good evening, Karine and Rick. As you said, after a day of peaceful protest at City Hall, there has been mayhem outside the federal building and detention center not far from us as so-called agitators face off with law enforcement personnel. Authorities say they've been taking, quote, bottles, rocks, and industrial-sized commercial-grade fireworks from demonstrators, and we can hear the constant blare of sirens heading that way. Conflict, chaos, and clashing for a second straight night outside the federal building and detention center in downtown Los Angeles as demonstrators defy authorities and disrupt the flow of business and life as usual. At least 2 people were detained, and they may have been fighting for different causes. We know one involves the surge in federal immigration law enforcement operations in Southern California. Earlier Saturday, a few hundred demonstrators gathered outside City Hall demanding that Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, U.S. Border Patrol, and any other Department of Homeland Security agents leave the Golden State. Participants say they believe that good, hardworking, law-abiding people are being rounded up in actions they consider immoral.
And we've been alienated by somebody who says that they're our president, who is systematically set out to destroy this country.
I'm horrified and I'm disgusted. I'm incredibly disappointed. And I hope we continue to stand out here.
The Trump administration says it is enforcing the law, a mandate from voters, focusing on criminals who are living in the United States illegally. Supporters point out that millions of people were deported under Democratic administrations, including the Clinton, Obama, and Biden administrations, without the fiery controversy currently sweeping the United States.
Well, obviously, I want ICE out of not only LA, but the way that they've been operating across the entire country needs to end.
Friday's rally in the same location drew several thousand people. The demonstration was vocal yet nonviolent during the afternoon. However, around nightfall, the scene erupted into clashes with law enforcement personnel as pockets of protesters gathered outside the federal building and detention center in downtown LA, with participants hurling garbage and bottles at officers and authorities responding with pepper balls and tear gas. The LAPD declared an unlawful assembly around 6 p.m. and ordered people to scatter. Protesters blocked traffic and also set fire to a dumpster near the federal building and then prevented a fire truck from responding to the scene. All of the chaos carried live on KTLA. LA Mayor Karen Bass says at least 5 people were detained. And we know there have been more arrests tonight. Reporting live in downtown Los Angeles, Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
Wolfie, thank you. A federal judge has ordered 5-year-old boy Liam Ramos and his father to be released from a detention facility where they have been held for nearly 2 weeks. The government says father Adrian Conejo Arias entered the U.S. illegally last year, while his attorney says he has a pending asylum claim. In his ruling, the judge said the government's push to meet deportation quotas should not come at the expense of traumatizing children. He also took an unusually pointed swipe at the Trump administration, suggesting its actions ran counter to the values laid out in the Declaration of Independence.
Another federal judge has denied a request to temporarily end the deployment of those 3,000 federal agents in Minnesota. The state, as well as the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, they filed a lawsuit that claims the decision to send agents to Minnesota was a violation of state sovereignty. The suit also claims that the deployment was an illegal attempt to coerce them to cooperate with immigration enforcement. However, Judge Kate Menendez said that the state and local officials failed to prove the deployment of agents was unconstitutional.
In other news tonight, a pedestrian is struck and killed on the 110 freeway in Exposition Park. This happened around 8:30 p.m., forcing a closure of all northbound lanes south of Adams Boulevard. Video from Sky 5 shows traffic being diverted to the fast track lanes. Right now, it's not clear what led up to the crash or why there was a pedestrian on the freeway. A terrifying attack in West Hollywood, where a man says he was brutally beaten by a group of strangers as he was leaving a bar. The victim says he believes that attack was random. Video from a passing driver captured some of the attack, showing the victim being kicked in the head and stepped on repeatedly.
Yeah, the victim says that he tried to call 911, but the attacker stole his phone. Lindsay Pena live for us in Hollywood with more on that. Lindsay?
Yeah, Rick and Kareen, that victim says he is still recovering from his injuries. We actually spoke with him after a doctor's visit. He was making sure he doesn't have any serious head trauma. As for the attack, he says he believes he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. With a black eye, cuts and bruises all over his body, this man says he's lucky his injuries aren't worse.
It's just a lot of swelling. There's no broken bones, thankfully.
He only wanted us to identify him as Saint for privacy reasons and says he was the victim of a brutal attack early Thursday morning in the middle of West Hollywood. Video from a passerby shows someone on the ground being beaten by several people around 1:30 a.m. on the sidewalk along Robertson Boulevard near the park and behind the Abbey Bar.
It happened so fast. It wasn't targeted. It just felt like drunken rage.
Saint says he was just walking by himself when a woman suddenly threatened him and then started hitting him. Others joined in, and before he knew it, he was on the ground, terrified things would escalate.
My thing was just like, I was just trying to cover myself, like, and just waiting for it to be over. Like, initially I wanted to fight back, but I thought about, like, what if they have a knife or a gun? Like, I just wanted it to be over, you know? So I was just kind of waiting for it to stop, and it just didn't stop. And it just kept going. And you see in the video, like, they just keep getting up and stomping on me, and then getting up again and stomping on me. Like, it's just like they really wanted to do some damage.
He says when the beating finally stopped, his attackers also stole his cell phone as he was trying to call 911. He claims the attack went on for several minutes, and during that time, no one intervened, including some unarmed WeHo security ambassadors who were nearby.
If I were to see somebody on the ground getting attacked by 5 people, you're not going to make any noise, do anything, try to intervene in any way, like even scream like the cops are coming.
The city of West Hollywood sent us a statement about the incident that reads in part, quote, "We are deeply concerned by the reported attack. West Hollywood security ambassadors were on site and immediately contacted the West Hollywood Sheriff's Station, which responded to the incident." Now, Saint does say that one of those West Hollywood security ambassadors did manage to snap a picture of the license plate of one of the cars that the suspects got away in. But as of right now, there have been no arrests in this case. If you do have any information about what happened, you're asked to contact the West Hollywood Sheriff's Station. We're reporting live from Hollywood. Lindsay Pena, KTLA 5 News. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Lindsay, thank you for that. Still ahead here on the news at 10, a neighborhood on alert now after multiple break-ins.
Thieves destroy one home and they get away with one child's Christmas gifts. Tonight, that homeowner is speaking out. And Kai's with us.
Indeed. Good evening, everybody. A beautiful Saturday night here in Southern California. What a Saturday afternoon. We saw 80s. We even saw some 90s. Can it keep going? For your Sunday forecast, we'll talk about it. But first, Hartman's here.
Kai, Dodger Fest was a big hit today at Chavez Ravine, but it was the news that Shohei Ohtani broke that stole the show. Plus, both UCLA and USC